We did it without throwing to commercial. Brilliant. Let's go into this best of 3, guys. To the top left-hand side, our red Protoss player. This is going to be Harstem from Asterion. And down to the bottom right-hand side, we are going to see the blue Zerg player, SortOf. He's going to open with a 12 pool here on Thunderbird. A bit of a different way to get things going, actually. This should be pretty interesting in the next few moments. As we do have... Obviously, I mean, 12 pool is not the kind of go-to in PvZ, but it can work. Especially... you know what? It's because Protoss players have started doing this, isn't it? Because... usually you put a pylon here, you wall off here. But Protoss players just can't get enough. They're just a little bit greedy. And so they've started walling off this ramp here so they can take 3 bases walled off. And the problem with this is that you just can't wall this off against a Link Flood, against a 12 pool. And I think SortOf's actually got a really good read on this game, where now the choice of a 12 pool makes a lot more sense. And this is something that pros have only just been doing more recently. So let's see what Harstem's response to this will be, because he's also playing greedy. He's not scouting, so he has no information. And if these Lings come across the map and kill this pylon, with no information for Harstem to get ready to defend it, he's not going to have a Zealot out. He's going to be in a lot of trouble now. He's going to start sending the probe forward. So you'll see the Lings around about here, which is already pretty late. I mean, he's going to be even a little bit further back than that. I mean, there's no time to get a Zealot up here at all. That probe pulls away instantly. So, I mean, he's going to start chronoing the Zealot. Probes will have to pull from the high ground here, and he's preemptively pulling a bunch of them to make sure he can hold this off. The Lings, they want that pylon. If this pylon goes down, the gateway goes down, and continued Link production ends this game. Pylon taking a lot of damage. Probes pull in. The Zealot will get out. That's a big helping hand as Harstem will start to defend this. So far, I don't think SortOf has done enough, obviously. Making some probes pull off the line when you're on 7 workers down so early in the game definitely isn't enough. Good control from Harstem. A lot of back and forth here, trying to chrono boost out an Adept. As Zealot, though, getting blocked by the probes. Looks like this pylon probably will fall, but I think he's cleaned up enough of these Zerglings that got enough damage on them for it not to matter anyways. Oh, nice turnaround with the units as well. Yeah, I think this is okay, actually, for Harstem. Slight delay on the Cybercore, but he shouldn't lose much more to this now. Touch wood that we're not jinxing it for Harstem, but obviously it comes down to Probe Micro in the main, but it should be very manageable. He's also got the Adept coming out, so he'll actually have some range that can actually keep up with these Lings. And that's obviously going to be a huge helping hand as well. And that's going to defend the natural while the Zealot makes sure there's no damage dealt in the main. Yeah, the Adept coming up into the main base. So, he's kind of let it just stop for a moment there. As you're going to see, he dives in for a probe. The other probes backing around. Zealot going to get another swipe or 2 off. He's going to lose a second probe here. Okay, not disastrous, right? Losing a couple of probes. Just helps SortOf recover from this a little bit here. Alright, well, Adept will go straight across the map. Both of them will, obviously. When you're playing this sort of style as SortOf, your link speed's a little bit late, so you can get away with the Adepts coming across a bit later than usual. But also, you're obviously trying to cut a couple of corners here and there, so there's definitely opportunities for a couple of Adepts and a Zealot to get a lot of damage done. So, coming across. Already seeing those couple of Overlords overhead here, the Adepts. Just hanging out with them. We're going to see a creep tumor or 2 spreading at the front. Speed starting up on the spawning pool as well, so getting that ready to roll. You can see there's Phoenix on the way up as well, also being chrono boosted out. And again, those couple of Adepts going to go shading across towards the natural expansion. And again, the 2 Adepts here going to see what they can get up to. As we are going to be seeing them coming back over to the left-hand side. So going to start picking their way through the hatchery just for a moment or 2 here. And those Adepts going to be out back towards the center of the map. Oracle on the way up. After the Phoenix, Overlord will get to see that it's an Oracle following up as well. It's nice to see, because sometimes, you know, again, there are builds where you actually go Phoenix into a very fast Robo, skipping the Oracle. And that can obviously be pretty deadly sometimes. So yeah. Interested to see what happens with this. Is this Phoenix coming through the center? The 2 Adepts trying to shade forwards again, looking to see what they can perhaps get done, but answer is not a lot just yet. Another facility dropping down in the natural expansion. 3rd Nexus dropping over to that right-hand side as well. +1 melee. On the way up on the Evo chamber here, Oracle is going to add a few shots off from the Spore Crawler. Obviously isn't going to deal too much damage. Second Oracle on the way, but again, transition into that kind of next stage of Protoss, which is Twilight Forge, the Robo. It just lets you do everything, and of course, eventually, Harstem has got this full wall off to be able to hold the 3 bases, so he's very safe going up into everything as well right now. You know, there's very low chance of an attack breaking through here, or a Ling run by slowing him down or anything. He's just very free to kind of play his game at the moment, as we do see the couple of Oracles continuing down to the bottom side of the map. Man, again, we've sort of playing Harstem as well. Harstem doesn't mind playing a later game PvZ, and he's actually very good at it, so I actually wouldn't be too surprised at all to see perhaps a bit of a late game coming up, because SortOf loves his late game as well. I mean, we kind of saw it a bit against Marine Lord, but he's really kind of in PvZ too. I mean, was it the Aces Rock Qualifiers, I think, where SortOf and Geralt played like a ridiculously long PvZ? There was some qualifier recently where they played each other, and maybe it was even like WCS Spring or Summer. WCS Summer. It was in like the last month or so, so it was either Aces Rock Qualifiers or WCS. They played like the most ridiculously long series, and it actually held up like the rest of the bracket almost. I think it was in the group stages of WCS now I think about it. I didn't even cast that game, I just know that they played like the most long-ass series against each other. Pretty crazy. Alright, well, a few drones going down, but of course did lose one of the Oracles, which is a shame, so only one left to kind of keep the map control with. This Phoenix still poking for damage, but it's unlikely to get a lot done. I mean, there's a transfuse available, so if the transfuse up, this Overlord should never really die to a Phoenix, and of course, eventually the Phoenix gets pushed away by the couple of Queens, and that's exactly what we see happening. 7 extra gateways being added into the main base. Templar Archives dropping down on the 3rd as well. Warp Prism Chrono boosting out of the Robo facility. Another Sentry being added into play as well, so getting that warped in. And again, a hallucination out over to the right-hand side of the map. 7 more Hydras coming up right now. Baneling Speed dropping down in the map and into the main base as well. Single Zergling just nibbling its way through the Nexus, so trying to get a lot more done. Phoenix again hitting that Overseer, as we do have the Overlord hanging out over on the side. Infestation Pit dropping in the main base. So we are going to perhaps see actually a little bit of... So it's going to be Lingbane Hydra. I wouldn't put it past SortOf at all to play kind of a Swarm Host Nidus style on this map either, though. You know, alongside the Lingbane Hydra. We saw that for a long time, kind of the Swarm Host Lingbane Hydra as like the overall composition. It's definitely a possibility once again here, as we see Lings and Queens breaking their way through these rocks. Those are going to fall, and well, again, +2 melee upgrade coming up right now. Grooved Spines is finishing on the Hydra Den, and +2 attack on the Forge also coming up over in the main base. Got that +2 attack up and running. Hive Spire coming in from SortOf here, so getting that ready to roll. And again, just this army of Harstem coming through the center of the map. Do you see a Stasis Ward up on that high ground? That's going to be picked off by those Archons pressing forwards as well. And we do have, again, just a Warp Prism into the main. Going to be a bunch of Zealots warping in, as we do see those Zealots over here picking away at Zerglings. So yeah, Zealots going to go charging on forwards. A few Lings getting picked off. Hydra's coming through as well. That's a lot of Lings getting killed here, I tell you that, as this Queen is also going to go down. So a lot of pickoffs as we see Archons and Immortals pressing forwards. A few more Zerglings getting picked away at. Oh, this is a hell of a push from Harstem. It's catching sort of a real rough timing as he's trying to go up into Hive and the Spire into towards those Brood Lords. Never mind those Swarm Hosts I talked about, obviously want to attack up further, but Harstem just not allowing it, coming straight across the map. I actually really think this is somewhat a repercussion of just the early game. That 12 cool didn't really do enough. SortOf was always that little bit behind from that. Harstem takes game number 1. 0 Harstem looking to go into WCS Challenger, as we do start off to the bottom right-hand side. It is our red Protoss Harstem. Very nicely done by Harstem, honestly. I think a very well executed style from him. Very aggressive setup to finish the game off when he knew he could. Yeah, it was, I'd say it was very enjoyable, so happy with that, as we do have to the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player. Give it up if you're cheering on SortOf. Alright, so a second map here between Harstem and SortOf, getting this ready to go. A little bit of a block from that probe means the hatchery comes down over on the third base. This does mean that a little bit of a depth pressure early game from Harstem has a good chance to be successful, because obviously the two bases where drones will be at are pretty far apart, so it's pretty hard to get in position to defend those correctly. So I'd be very surprised if Harstem didn't open with the two adepts. Maybe even with the... do you want to go Stargate here? Obviously you can go for like an Oracle Adept attack, that's also pretty powerful, but that does mean committing to the Stargate, where that isn't necessarily the best kind of go-to build right away. There are definitely other options to work with, so... Let's see this probe taking a couple of nibbles off of that drone. Hatchery finishing on that base then. Yeah, link speed just coming up, so pretty regular for the moment. Obviously Harstem, it's a nice narrow ramp, or wall off this time, so you'll just wall regularly, and obviously there's no kind of early game pressure from SortOf to try and abuse that at all. Obviously it does mean that when he moves out to the third, there's no kind of wall off to just stop units running into this, so we'll see a bit of a different dynamic when it comes to establishing the third base here on Acropolis for Harstem than he did on, or than he had to go in for on Thunderbird. I kind of like it though. Again, it feels like a map where we're very likely to get into a later stage of the game. You know what he's doing? He's going over to Twilight Council. A lot of the time, this Twilight Council is for a robo facility and to go in towards a, the DTE drop or the Archon setup. And maybe it still is with the robo dropping down. Maybe I shouldn't have opened my mouth so soon. But Harstem really is a player who doesn't mind going for Resonating Glaives as a setup, and I actually wouldn't mind a Glaives opening on this map because I feel like a Glaives opening on this map can be very good to then follow up into an all-in. It takes a little while to get across initially, but yeah, I still feel like once you get there, the depths can kind of shade up and down these bases quite nicely. Looks like we will just see the Dark Shrine in a few moments though. Full Scout though. Link's coming into the main base here of SortOf, so you will get to see this and what's going on. That means he can just say, cool, well, at about 4 minutes, I'm going to start my lair. I'm going to start, even right now, I'm going to start my lair. And basically, in the next 30 seconds, start the lair and the Roach Roaring to defend against this. And should be good to go. So, yeah, Harstem getting scouted, not the end of the world. It's this kind of build that, if you get scouted, it's like, well, he knows what's coming, he knows what to prepare for, but it's so standard anyways. That a lot of the time, the assumption from the Zerg player, when you don't see that... when you don't see the Stargate opening, which obviously you don't see here because, well, there's been no Stargate units attacking you anywhere. But once you don't see that, you can already somewhat assume, like, oh, actually it's going to be this, for example. So we do see the War Prism coming out up towards the upper left-hand side, so looking to see what it can do. There's the Roach Roaring about to complete here. The Dark Shrine again continuing along. That's about to finish up in a moment as well, as a couple of gateways will morph into Warp Gate. Harstem will ask for a quick pause. Harstem always has these very fast pauses, I think sometimes when music switches randomly on his YouTube or something. Two adepts up the right side. Shading out into the center. Sorry, I'm having a giggle because I just looked at my laptop screen to see what's going on in the chat. Just to see if there's any updates on the other games. And I just read up in the chat a little bit from when Harstem first linked the lobby for the first game of the series. He said, Johnny Rico versus Harstem with the lobby link. And he's like, just kidding, it's SortOf. And that probably doesn't make you guys giggle, but it makes me giggle because I just know it's a little bit of a meme between the players. Johnny Rico, the Scottish Zerg, who obviously kind of disappeared. He actually came back for a little while and then just stopped playing again. Johnny Rico always kind of feels like he comes back, hits top 100 GM for a little bit, plays a couple online cups, plays a qualifier, and he's like, yeah, actually, this is my peak. I'm done again. Two Adept's going to shade in, but you can see the preparation for SortOf, and this is also a very recent development in the PvZ metagame. These Archons dropping down, we're going to be seeing them getting some more drones. But there's kind of two Adept to harass at the same time as the Archons moving in. It's something we saw a lot from stats at Home Story Cup. And since then, we've seen it really develop into just the straight up what you do every single time in this PvZ. So, yeah, we see that a lot now, and you can see SortOf's preparation for it. Just a few units in the third, despite obviously usually you just kind of run the roaches around wherever the warp prism is at. And you don't even need a lot of units to shut down 2 adepts, you just need them to already be in position. Because if they're not in position, the 2 adepts, it's like boom, 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 3 drones are dead. Then your units show up and they shade into the natural, and you go boom, 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 3 more drones. And suddenly you've lost like, 6, 7 workers. From 2 adepts that you have the units to clean up, it's just they weren't in the right places. And drone unfortunately didn't get the memo that the Archons are cleaning out creep here today. See another creep tumor picked off over on this side. And Archons just harass them nicely, sort of still trying to get to that 4th base in the next couple of moments. Spire about to finish, so looking for some Mutalisks at the moment, and, well, Harstem's already thrown down a Stargate. I didn't see that Spire. Yeah, he saw it. He's getting a Stargate up and running. And he'll have Phoenix if he needs to against these Mutalisks as well, so I feel like Harstem with good scouting for the moment. Again, knowing what's going on, shouldn't let this Mutalisk player get out of control or anything from SortOf. He's even going into Storm as well, so I think he's pretty content with just getting that Storm up and just sitting back a little bit more in this game rather than looking to push out across the map and trying to deal some damage. Civilias with the 8th gifted sub of the day from himself. Thank you so much for the generosity, dude. Giving out to you big, I'm not going to say this middle word because it's just going to get me in trouble somewhere. Big Flex Gang, thank you so much for the sub. I'm just scared to say it because I'm like mind gaming myself that I'm going to mess it up. So I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead, Stop while I'm ahead. Thank you so much for joining the Woody fam, and thank you Civilias for that gifted sub. We are going to see the Mutas obviously have arrived now, but, well, again, with Archons, cannons already set up, Harstem hasn't even had to utilize the Stargate yet. So, we'll be pretty happy about that. Wow, that's another Muta going down as well. This was actually such a clean defense. 4 pros, but he killed 3 of the 6 Mutalisks. I mean, 3 more Mutas don't really do anything when there's cannons around, so this is pretty interesting. Infestation Pit going to be coming up in a few moments. Infestation Pit going to be done then, and obviously I kind of feel like just Hive again, right? Go up in towards that kind of Broodlord tech once more, perhaps. It's another good map for Swarmhost Nidus because of this kind of area here where you can Nidus into the main or this base, and also Nidus here is kind of around that corner for this base here, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be Swarmhost at all. I think, of course, just the Hive coming up. Did add a few more Mutalisks, and those have now made their way into the main base, where we're going to see the single Stalker trying to defend. Actually, losing this pylon isn't too big a deal, because there's another pylon power in it, so the Forge is still going to be powered. Obviously, these 2 gates, the Templar Archives are unpowered, but Storm is complete. And, I mean, 2 gates is not the end of the world to have unpowered, right? I mean, as long as it's only 2 gateways, it's kind of fine. Just going to be seeing the units continue to gather up in the center. Hive going to be finishing up from SortOf in a few moments as well. The Zealots in the center of the map picking up a couple of creep tumors as well. One's coming through. Mita's going to be able to help grab a couple of those. Some updates on the other side of the bracket, by the way, is Namshar versus Geralt currently taking place. No, what? Sorry, it's Geralt versus Gung Fu Banter, sorry. I read game number 1 is Geralt Namshar. Sorry, I switched things. My bad. So it's Geralt versus Gung Fu Banter starting up on the bottom side. The winner of that plays Zanster, so that's what we're possibly going to be getting into shortly after this series. Anyways, for the moment, pressing forwards, we see a couple of Storms dropping down. Needs Storms on the right to hit those Banelings, and he does hit them. Good force field to buy time as well. As Harstem continues to press forwards. He's also got Zealots picking off the bottom left-hand side 5th base. So push through the center, continue to do pretty well at the moment. Another Storm on the Roaches and Ravagers. It's just a lot of the units from SortOf are in production, right? I mean, 60 Lings as well. Kind of feels like he's going to need to get some of those into Banelings, but he will actually come in with these Banes now. He's going to find the High Templar. All of the High Templar hit by Banelings, so Harstem is going to now have no way to kind of really keep on buffering this army. I mean, even if those were Archons, this would have gone so much better for him. Tries desperately to micro these Immortals and will survive with 3 of them. He still killed a lot though, 12 drones down. He still traded pretty well overall. War Prism will take 1 of those corrosive bars, but not too many. Again, those Zealots coming around the top side and going to go charging in. A couple of drones already in some trouble. Again, there's that War Prism lifting up and moving through to the main base as well. Roaches and Ravagers going after some more of these Zealots. Zergling's getting picked away at here. Another few Zealots warping in. Will we see the Mutas denying the Prism? Obviously, it will go down, but not before the Zealot warp in. So, a little bit of extra damage here for these Zealots now. I think Harstem's just trying to buy time to build up his tech back at home again, right? I mean, it's been that moment where obviously you lost a lot of Immortals and Archons, so if you can buy yourself a few moments to get High Templars building up energy at home before another fight happens across the map, that's obviously a lot better. So that's what he was just trying with those Zealots and that Prism. Honestly, it kind of worked out. Broodlord's now on the way though. Now, that said, Harstem did build a Stargate much earlier. He's going to build a second one now, but he actually hasn't gone into a Fleet Beacon. So I feel like that may have been just a little bit late, but he'll go for the Oracle first. So Fleet Beacon is on the way, getting ready for those bits and pieces. Two Banes running in, a couple of probes getting picked off. As we have a moment to breathe, thank you again, Cerilias. Going up to 10 gifted subs. Can we get some love in the chat for Cerilias? Being an absolute hero today. Thank you so much. Giving out a sub to McFizzle for Shizzle. And also to Ankor. Thank you so much for joining the family, guys. And thank you so much, Cerilias, for the gifted subs. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the stream. We're just going to find this War Prism. It's one of the benefits of still having the War Prism on the map. It's a very hopeful recall. It's just coming in a little bit too late. So yeah, War Prism getting shut down. At this point, no pylon down here. You could warp in Zealots and just run them to this base to create some sort of Zealot pressure on the map. And with the Tempest coming up, Harstem will have something of a solution to those Broodlords before they get into too crazy a number. Zealots going to get picked off again to the top side. Another few Zealots as well, just hanging out. Mutalisks on the upper right-hand side. As do you see the mothership also on the way? So Harstem really entering that late game PvZ. This is kind of what I wanted and what I expected to see between these guys. In this series. Two players who are definitely not afraid of the later game PvZ, and it's kind of now what we're getting. The Infestor's on the way up out of SortOf, so he's getting those up and running already. We'll have these few Roaches and the Ravager chasing those couple of Zealots away to the right-hand side. Zealot in the center again, a couple of swipes off as well. Doing okay. Again, 4 drones, a little bit of damage. I mean, this spine roll makes a lot of sense because this is a very kind of easy to hit base with Zealots. So, this is actually kind of nice for Harstem, picking off these Mutas with the cannons. I love this as well, by the way. This creep doesn't see that Zealots heading up here, so it's a little bit of a shame that there's a couple of creep teamers here for Harstem. He did bring an Observer across, but he's only going to send a few Zealots over. We still have a bit of Roach Ravager Bane trying to hit this bottom base, but a few cannons, a High Templar. It's enough to scare this off and say, yeah, get out of my base. But obviously, both players just sitting back, and they're both just happy to say, yep, okay, well, sort of he's like, okay, I'll build Infestors, they're pretty good. And of course, Harstem is like, yeah, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to build Tempest and now into Carriers. They're pretty good, so both players are getting into this kind of very late game scenario where they're both kind of setting up into their dream armies. Now, recently, I would say that Zergs have definitely been at an advantage when it comes to these kind of compositions. Because we just have seen a lot of kind of, infested Terrans doing very well. But if you can get up to that carrier count and trade well enough, obviously, I mean, it's not like the Zerg's going to auto-win. I would just say, if I had to pick a side, I kind of like it for SortOf. Let's go to this sort of stage. But I do remember casting Harstem, and maybe it was WCS Winter Qualifiers this year, and he just had this run of PvZ, and he just looked so convincing in, like, later game PvZ games. It was so kind of inspirational to watch because it was just like a really fun set of matches, and it really made me a big fan of, I'm a big fan of Harstem anyway, but it was really nice to kind of, see him just doing so well in that PvZ, and it really made me a big fan of that matchup of his in particular. So that was pretty cool, as we're going to be seeing the units dealing a little bit more damage again. Some units in the center looking to see what else is going on. Neural Parasite on the Oracle, so we'll be able to kill that off. Broodlords, though, actually will get picked off by one of them by a Tempest. Broodlings, oh, nice micro. Actually controlled the Broodlings to get the full surround and kill that High Templar. We're at that stage of the game where Mortals are not going to be that useful, and so they are going to be picked off here over to this left-hand side, so Mortals will fall. Another couple of Zealots running in, also going to get picked off. And these Tempests just looking to poke around the front. It's tough without the Oracle because you don't have that Revelation. And that High Templar went down as well. It's a very hopeful High Templar, and another one too. Also needs to be a bit more careful with these, I feel, as Zealots try and take advantage of what the Immortals created for them, which was an opportunity on this left-hand side. One Infest is on the way up, +1 Flyer Carapace, +2 Flyer attacks. A couple more Oracles in the main base, so getting those ready to roll. Wasn't shot down by the Mutants as they come chasing that down again. Another couple of Infestors on the way out. So Harstem back into the middle. He's back with this Oracle, so he will be able to drop the Revelation. This time, no Neural Parasites, it just backs away. And again, it gives them Tempest the ability to truly use their full range. So maybe get a couple of snipes off here. Pushing forwards already. 2 shots on the Broodlord. Not enough to get the kill, but you can see Harstem just playing this slow and patiently. I feel like this Archon's missing his buddies. Feels like he's meant to have a little bit of backup over there, you know? Actually, love to see maybe a round of Zealots, although Bane's coming in to try and help with a round of Zealots. Again, just going forward. The Tempest not quite able to get corrupted. And actually, the transfusion was pretty good and pretty quick there to help out as well. Another Revelation just hitting at the front. Actually, will find himself a Broodlord. Still got this little bit of an army up this ramp. I mean, it's going to be tough to break this set of spines, but actually the other units did back away, so we'll see the Archons will probably do better than I thought they would initially. There's a single High Templar to storm as well. The Banelings will make it to the High Templar, though. Yeah, and Archons just don't do that well against Spine Crawls, which is the current issue. The Templar comes forward, but all it does is land a storm on the infested Terrans. Not really much gained. Again, Harstem just giving up those Archons. I think he's just very happy to go into, I don't know, like Archons are something that I think Harstem kind of wants to keep in his army as well, so I'm not thinking he's just kind of trading off because they don't need them anymore. I just feel like they would have done so well with Zealots as well, right? A few Zealots charging in initially, help against those spines, etc. Could have done a lot. Still, those Tempest flying away, getting a bit more damage done. Infested Terrans dropping down. Storm will try and just grab the edge of those Infestors. Another nice Neural Parasite to shut down the Oracle. I mean, that's, again, something that guaranteed Harstem wants to rebuild here, because you need that Oracle in the composition. You need those Revelations. Zealots again. With the Archons this time, see, this is kind of more what I thought this attack previously should have been like. There's a couple of Banes in the front, but, I mean, only a couple means the Zealots should be able to survive it and still do pretty well. And because it's mostly Zerglings beyond that, then the Archons obviously help to clean up a lot. And now the Zealots do a lot to help against the Spines, and this is a much more successful bit of harassment out of Harstem. I really like this time around, and just imagine what those four Archons could have done previously if they'd had some Zealots on their side as well. Get that Spine Crawler nice just before the Archons go down, and that's going to force a lot more units to have to be sent over here. A few Lings popping out actually will just clean this up. Another round of Zealots, so there's no Spine Crawlers here now, so those Zealots become very powerful in this scenario. So things are going to come in for a little bit of a surround. Zealots obviously just going to trade out. It's a fairly okay trade on either side. Harstem is just rich. SortOf is only on 60 workers, so building up that bank is very slow for him. Harstem with 80 workers. Obviously just has much more on the bank as he loses his War Prism in the main. And for at the moment I feel like minerals are very expendable. Infested Terrans finding the Oracle. Sticks around just a moment too long. Oh, nice fungal over here. Actually going to find DTs and Zealots trying to hit this base, so a couple of Infestors now to defend that position as well. And Harstem still just going to chip away in the center of the map. Thank you so much, Cerilias, going up to 15 gifted subs. Just making sure nothing's happening here. Gifting out to WoW, so I'm back. Boofsy, Cryptic Mayo, and Mashed Potatoes for fresh new subs. And also welcome back Ling 40 Hours for 2 months. Thank you, Cerilias, for another 5 gifted subs. Just keep throwing some love in the chat, guys. I feel like we could all do some love today. Let's get some hearts in there. If you've got some hard emotes or something from other streamers, show them. I see some love and positivity. Thank you so much, Aurelius, for the gifted subs. Really do appreciate it, buddy. Well, the Zealots and DTs are back in action. Just as the Infestors and the Lings left, they thought it was safe to leave. It's never safe to leave. Yeah, they got back pretty quickly. And in the meantime, Harstem, he's been pressuring these sides of the map. He's got this base up and running. A few DTs going to look to protect here with these cannons. I almost wonder if Archons might be the better choice at this sort of stage. A lot of infested Terrans dropping down. I guess there's only, I mean, now there's no fungal. There is still an Overseer there. So that's going to be warped in to try and protect this. Harstem still just pressing forward with these Tempests, by the way, just slowly, again, chipping away at this army. Fungal Grove goes down on the High Templar. We'll lose two. We'll lose a third to the side as well. Obviously, he was able to drop down a bunch of Storms, though. Another Fungal Grove. High Templar's getting caught once more. The Tempests. Ah, this nice Fungal is just guaranteeing that these High Templar will die. The Oracle Nelly as well. That, oh god, the High Templar also from these infested Terrans. What's the resources lost at 29k to 30k? So this is really becoming a problem that Harstem is just mining so much more. What did he just recall here? I think the army from the bottom side. Very interesting. Using the Mothership recall, of course. So yeah, he's actually going to send those units around the top now, so completely changing the direction of the map. I kind of like it. Completely changes up pace from, you know, those attacks that have been focused on the bottom. Another Storm on the ramp. Infested Terrans taking some shots. Tempest coming forward, and we will see Infested Terrans being picked away at here. Zealots charging on forwards. We're going to see the Spine Crawlers are just going to survive. A few Neuroparasites actually making a big difference. And that Archon actually will get out of the Neuro, but obviously we'll only pick up a few more Zerglings. So that's going to try and pick off this Spine Crawler, and again, Harstem thrown away a lot in these attacks, but he can obviously afford it because he's just got so many workers. I mean, SortOf is now down to 49 workers, so again, the economy difference is really huge between the two of them at the moment. SortOf's infested to continue to spam out those infested Terrans, however, so just keeping those up. Another Fungal Growth goes wild. Doesn't quite connect just yet. Still Lings and a few Banes gathering on the left side of this here. And again, Tempest, Mothership pushing up to the top. The Muta's going to go patrolling on the top right hand side as well. Another few infested Terrans dropping down. Puts 3 melee on the way up on the Evo Chamber. A couple of infestors on the way out as well. And again, Zealots and Archon's going to start pressing across to the left hand side. Harstem trying to get another base up here. I mean, he's got so many minerals, he can just absolutely afford to keep throwing bases down wherever he wants. A single infestor throwing down that Neuroparasite, it actually really changes so much. Neural and an Archon onto your own side. Even just a splash onto the Zealot goes a long way. Again, Harstem just maybe being a bit more reckless now. That he's kind of maybe a bit more confident that he's got an extra base up or so, and he's kind of, you know, a bit of a base ahead of SortOf. Is that even true? SortOf has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Harstem has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, so they're equal bases. SortOf's worker count, though, by the way, down to 37. And actually starts up a few more to make sure you can set up with that. Just going to be seeing the Ling's Banes, the Infestor, setting up on the left still. Gravitic Drive coming in for that Warp Prism. I mean, the Warp Prisms haven't really done much today for Harstem in this game. They've been having a pretty rough time. He's going to come over and clean up these Mutas, which are one of the big things that are stopping those Warp Prisms from being successful. Cleaning up those maybe opens up the map a little bit more for him to be successful with that. Harstem's finally given up this center position, by the way. He's pushed this base for this area. Not even necessarily a base in particular. He's just pushed this area for so long. I mean, now it makes sense to change it up because this base is mining out, so it's much more appropriate for him to try and get damage done on a base which SortOf actually really needs to keep mining from. So I like him changing up to the top right side, and he also has this base to protect now as well, so it makes even more sense to have an army to the top side of the map to push around as also. Recalls, I really like this. This was really nice. Recalls those Tempests. He knows they're going to die with the fungal growth on them. So absolutely recalling them is one of the better choices. So a lot of Archons over here. Again, there's that infested Terra Neuroparasite. I'd love to see just one High Templar coming across with this, just so you can shut down the Infestor Neural already. It would be really, really nice to see. He's going to get his Archon back, of course, Harstem. He will kill this Infestor. And now the Archon's like, yes, I'm done fighting for the Zerg. Back to action. Yeah, these spines are in trouble, mind you, and of course having to build these spines all the time is one of the reasons SortOf is spending a lot of money. And drones as well, obviously. Losing workers once more. 8 drones down. Again, like 6 spines and 600 minerals and 6 drones worth of spine crawlers. SortOf can barely afford to rebuild those spine crawlers. It just means that this base has never really mined comfortably because he's just constantly been having to send his drones to build more spines and constantly losing drones there as well. Another wave of results from Harstem. Over the left-hand side, just going to find a few spore crawlers here on the edge of the creep spread. Again, this base just completely uncontested is so fantastic for Harstem. He's able to get so much out of this. Corruptors are going to be able to pick off that Warp Prism though in the main. And SortOf really has been very good at shutting down the Warp Prisms. It's just the Zealots that walk across the map that seem to be the larger issue at the moment. Circling's up in the main, able to pick off another Zealot there. Broodlords getting hit by the Revelation. And again, this hatchery is pretty low, nearly going down. You know, in all honesty though, for all the attempts Harstem's made on this base, he's never actually killed it, right? Apart from maybe much earlier in the game, I think we saw a squad of Zealots picking it off while he was first pushing up here. I don't think he's ever actually killed it later in the game, despite all of his attempts. By the way, so many fungals being used to hunt down these DTs, actually not even getting a kill. Okay, well, Overseer shows up now anyways. Another DT. Nice play by SortOf. Paying a lot of attention to what's going on. Harstem has money, but he's not maxing out. Why not? What's he looking for here? So we're building a few probes, getting more DTs. He has so much money. Maybe he doesn't quite know what he wants to build. We'll start picking away at this top side once again. Parasite gonna find the Oracle kills. Did he just shoot down his Overseer instead of the Oracle? I think he did. Whoops. More of a misclick. There's another round of units looking to hit this base. It has the spine crawls, like the 2 spine crawls are going to make a difference. Approaching the 30-minute marker. Getting to that point where the first 6 bases or so are mining out. So these extra additional bases, they become extremely important at this stage. And this is where, obviously, as you stretch around the entire map, it becomes very difficult. Good recall again from Harstem. He's very good at this. He knows when the fight's not going to go well for him. And he's so fast to recall his units out of there that the Zerg player just can't capitalize. And so Harstem gets himself out of a sticky scenario. Tell you what, Harstem's losing a lot of probes now, though. With a lot of probes going down, now he's got a lot more space for an army. But obviously he's not going to be able to build up his bank as easily as he has been. So now he has to be a bit more cautious with the units that he's using. He is 10,000 resources down in resources lost, which is obviously a huge difference here. Oh man, Harstem's actually just losing this entire mineral line to these lings. This is what was kind of missing from SortOf, just a bit of a counter-attack on this top. I mean, he's had a lot of lings all game long. He's just never really made anything happen over there. Well, now he's going to be able to maybe even get that Nexus. Harstem is going to get this hatchery bottom left-hand side, though, so both players are going to be taking some losses here. This is a large army from Harstem. I love that he is finally starting to bring some High Templar with this attack as well for the feedback on the Infestor. Maybe even just a Storm, because it has been a lot of Ling Bane defense. This is a very convincing push through as Harstem denies this base. You can see the High Templar looking for the Storms ahead of time. Banelings will crash in. The Infestors will actually still get Neuroparasites off. Fungal Growths as well. The Zealots. Again, that Archon does so much to help out. Oh my god! Archon kills its own Observer. Those Neurals have time and time again been so very good. So very good. I'm just consuming up some energy. I feel like Harstem's dying off here right now. I feel like he doesn't have a way to truly end this game. He's just sort of stuck where he's currently at. Infested Terrans dropping down. I mean, again, Harstem has a bank that he's just not really spending or committing to. He's going to go into more Tempests again. You know, see, at one point, by the way, he built a carrier. Did he ever finish that carrier? No, it didn't die, so he actually cancelled the carrier. Decided just to stick on Tempest this game. What's in the War Prisons, by the way? Just a ton of High Templar. He's actually got so many High Templar. I guess he's just thinking better to fight energy with energy. Oh my god, Harstem's on 0 workers as this base down here gets hit by Zerglings. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, it's not like SortOf is mining a lot either. If this base goes down, SortOf is basically mining nothing either, so it kind of comes down to this fight, but there's so many Infestors with so much energy available. Harstem just looking for anything he can get. A feedback, a Storm on the Infestors. Harstem kind of needs a base, but, well, first he needs to build a probe, which can then build a Nexus. He has 0 probes on the map. I mean, all the bases that he has are mined out. Obviously, now that he's trying to fight this base up here, it would be a good time to try and establish this base here, right? So obviously not having a probe for that is a little bit of a shame. Some Zards up through the middle. I mean, SortOf is pretty much mined out everywhere as well. This base is obviously nice that it's still mining. Again, Harstem mined out a lot faster because he was on more workers. And it's just been recently when he started to trade that little bit worse towards the end of all of this. That's been Harstem's bigger problem here. He's just not kept up the efficiency in his trades, and that really has, in the end, started to cost him a little bit. Tempest backing away. Oracle comes through, drops the Revelation on the Infestors. Nice Fungal does grab the Warp Prism there for a moment. The High Templars inside obviously want to just be a little bit careful. You do not want to lose that Warp Prism. Hey, what happens if you near the Warp Prism? Can you drop the units out of it? So you can like drop the. Imagine you can like near the Warp Prism and drop the Neurals like the High Templar under the Broodlords or something. Oh my god, this Warp Prism is gonna die. I like the idea, but that's 3 high energy Templar that just died there. Harstem again, he can't rebuild these units very easily. He's got 0 income. So it feels like in the long run, he sort of is starting to win this out. He's got so many Infestors, 37 Infestors in play. Oh, that's another nice Fungal on the Warp Prism, and he will get the kill. Another set of High Templar going down. My god. Absolutely crazy, as you see. Infestor Terran still trying to press forwards. Another High Templar throwing a storm down on the Infestors. Templars trying to see what else they can do. A lot more. Infestor Terran's dropping down here. Storm's dropping as well. Again, the Infestor Terrans just continue to press on forwards. Oracle's going to kill him up, looking to try and drop a Revelation. We'll get that Revelation in the mix there. So a little bit of backwards and forwards. Going to see another High Templar storming away. Queen trying to press forwards as well. We'll see, the entire game revolves around this top right-hand side at the moment. Harstem has nothing going on elsewhere. There are some Lings that are going to go counter-attack and start just putting Harstem on the countdown where he's going to lose production. Then again, he has no money left, so production doesn't even matter any longer. Just starting to move through. Neuroparasites available. Drops Fungals, drops Parasitic Bombs on the Tempest, and those are looking deadly. Infested Terrans are about to pop up as well, and oh my god, the Tempest just died. The Broodlord's pushing through. GG, well played from Harstem. A spot in WCS Challenger. Meanwhile, the other side, Geralt and Gung Fu Banda are going to a game 3. The winner of that plays Zanster in the qualifying match. Obviously, we'll wait for some info on that. If that's already started by the time this series finishes, by the way, we'll probably not cast it. But if it hasn't started, we'll obviously go straight into it, is kind of the plan that we're at the moment. So that's kind of where we're at. Well, obviously kind of depends how long this game ends up taking, as we have had some longer games here today. Top right-hand side, our Red Protoss player Harstem from Asterion Gaming, going up against the Blue Zerg bottom left, SortOf. Yeah, game 3 of this series. Again, just a quick reminder to a few of you that might be interested. At the end of the StarCraft today, whenever we call it a day on cast and WCS, which is, again, maybe after this series, maybe we have one more series after. It kind of depends on the length of this one. I am going to be doing a Twitch bounty today. I'm going to be playing a game called Gloomhaven, which is a board game gone PC game. So it's a board game that's been modded and changed into a PC game. Just came out into early access. I'm going to be playing that for an hour at the end of the stream today, guys. It is sponsored, and that means that it is based on viewership as well. So if you guys stick around, even if you kind of leave the stream just on in the background or something, it helps me out a whole bunch and helps me get a little bit extra dollars for the day. We usually kind of end up putting those dollars towards more StarCraft content. So if that sounds maybe a bit of fun, you want to hang out for a little bit longer at the end, maybe between the end of WCS Europe and before WCS NA starts, consider hanging around. Just an update to let you guys know there will be a little bit of extra content, but it will not be StarCraft related, obviously. So, yeah, just give you guys a bit of a heads up on that. Again, goes a long way if you stick around, but again, don't feel like you have to. If the tab that keeps my stream open on mute kills your PC, then turn it off. I don't want to kill your guys' PCs. Don't want to waste your precious internets. Anyways, this game, setting up. Let's throw someone on. I need to stand up for them, guys. Sorry, it's been a long day and I haven't stood up enough, so am I following this Overlord? Okay, I'm gonna follow someone. Who are we gonna follow for the next couple of minutes? Who do we trust to observe for us, guys? While I stand up. Oh, gaming? Let's follow gaming. Okay, oh, gaming are seemingly AFK on. Oh no, there we go. Oh, they're still introducing Harstem. Nice. Classic maneuver. Okay, let's follow Maralekos for the few moments. Just want to stand up and stretch out my legs a couple of minutes here while we get set up in this one. Harstem have a very fast robo facility here in Game 3, so he might just go for... I mean, already only 2 workers on gas. It kind of feels like a big, fast Immortal all-in. Something really, really aggressive here very quickly in the game. So yeah, Robo going to be finishing up. The sentry is on the way out as well, about halfway done. What's up, Denmark is the best, buddy. How you doing? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for the $6 donation. Says for that $125. Thank you so much. You guys have been very generous. Crazy day for donations. Thank you so much for the generosity. It's been crazy because I put up the $125 donation goal, meaning for it to last today and tomorrow. Just to kind of help us kind of justify WCS qualifier coverage. So thank you so much for being so generous that we filled up that goal on day number 1. Obviously, I am going to be here tomorrow for WCS EU qualifiers day 2. So I hope to see you all back. As obviously we are building up into this aggressive setup from Harstem. So Harstem's going all out. He's going all in. Extra gateways already dropping down. Let's jump back to my own observing time to sit down and cast up this series. It's not going to last much longer. So the Rotron drops in from SortOf. His information about well, he's about to confirm what's going on here. He's going to see the second Immortal Corona boost. He's going to see gates in the main. Yeah, it's going to be good information for SortOf. Harstem is up to 3 workers on 3 gases across the board though. Who's going to be able to pick off this Overlord. Oh my god. He's going to survive a little bit longer. Sees the Immortal. Another Immortal from Harstem, so going up to 3. He already has the Warp Prism out. And it's on an extra gateway now. Again, this is definitely going to be something of aggressive here, right? As we see the Roaches starting to build from SortOf. He's already kind of preparing for this attack. This Overlord coming in over here. Sees the lack of this gas. I mean, no 4 gases means we are definitely somewhat all in all of this. Again, some Harstem coming out the front, and it's going to be seeing the 6 Lings on the way up, the Throaches, the Ravagers all building. Harstem finally getting ready to start pushing across the map here. He's on that 2 base saturation, 40 workers, because he's missing a gas. Well, I guess he should be on 41, but, we'll let him off for missing the probe. Is he missing a probe? Yeah, he's missing 1 worker in the main. But he's on the 2 base saturation, so this is it. This is what Harstem decides to try and win this series with. Coming across the map. So, SortOf has quite a lot of units. He's been preparing for this for a while. Now, let's see how Harstem approaches this, because there's definitely a world in which you can sort of, as Harstem here, somewhat tech up beyond it, if you feel like it's going to be tough. And I tell you what, I love his position, because now he's going to be able to use the hatchery as part of a force field wall to try and keep his opponent at bay. Some Ravagers on the other side. Did they just snipe down the Warp Prism? Oh my god, what a flank! Corrosive Bowels, the Warp Prism in the back, and Harstem. Oh no, now Harstem has to really be careful with how he approaches this. That was a great play. Love those first force fields though, grabbing a few of these queens. Corrosive Bowels are going to start dropping down. Some of the Roaches now making their way through this. Harstem going to use the high ground as the next position to force field, I'd imagine. Not going to drop them down while Corrosive Bowels are already lined up over there though. This army of Harstem looking to push down this ramp perhaps. That starts up from SortOf. He feels comfortable to transition. Harstem builds a couple more probes. There's that gas. So obviously feels like he's not going to kill his opponent here. A little bit of a Ling run by across the map. It's a full wall off though. That's actually problematic for Harstem. What's he going to do about that? I guess he's just going to use the Immortal to break down this pylon to open up access to a 3rd base. He does have quite a lot of minerals in play, so... The Immortal is on his way over. Has to get rid of these Lings. He's about to lose his Cyber next door, so... That's where some of his minerals are going to go. Of course, remember the Warp Prism is now back, so he can warp in aggressively as well. Cybercore builds up in the back. He obviously Leaves a bit of a weird wall for Harstem. Nice first force fields though, grabs Ravagers and a good amount of Roaches in this. Second set of force fields comes down pretty quickly, keeping the Roaches in range of the Zealots. Stopping them from being able to kite back. A few Zerglings from the backside. The Warp Prism already unseating to make sure it isn't going to get caught by Ravager Bowels. Another few Roach kills. Great force fields. Harstem still has plenty left over as well, so can continue to manipulate these fights into his favor. Sentry's trying to come down the ramp here. Depths, Zealots and Mortals backing up to the high ground. Roaches and Ravagers getting ready to fight once again, and it's going to be seeing a few of these Zerglings trying to run forwards. Corrosive Bowels do drop down. Shimmer gets picked off, and there are a couple of force fieldlings getting taken down again. Going back away once more. The Mortal Sentry being added in. And Lairlings and Roach on the way up as well in this. Corrosive Bowels still trying to drop down on the top side. Once again, that lair is about to complete. There we go, another couple of Corrosive Bowels. Not really connecting on much here. Still trying to press forwards. Harstem is still trading out. I mean, he's adding in more Immortals, by the way. They are starting to come across the map, so he's about to actually increase his Immortal count from 3 to 5. That's pretty crazy. It's a big difference. He's sort of building an infestation pit as well. I mean, it feels like a risk that obviously if he gets it, brilliant, and if you get up to that alive, but I actually kind of feel like he just needs as many units as he can get right now. With the extra Immortals showing up, this feels like a real opportunity for Harstem. He is running out of a few units in the front. He has 6 Immortals here now. He's just doubled his Immortal counter in this fight. These Roaches are going to melt, and SortOf is running out of units at the moment. This hatchery is going to fall as well. I mean, he is building a hatch on the bottom side, but it won't be active right away. Man, those Roaches are just getting destroyed. The extra Immortals from Harstem as he pushes forwards here. Looks like he's going to be able to make this happen. That's absolutely crazy as we see pushing down the bottom side. Well, this Roach is about to pop out. That will get shot down by these Immortals as well. So that Roach goes down, and again, just another couple of Ravagers morphed in. Harstem backs away. Give himself a moment to take advantage of the fact that he did just kill the third hatchery. Man, it's just the Immortal count. He used so many of those force fields so well. Another few Corrosive Bowels dropping down. Army backs away. And that hatchery on the bottom side from SortOf is not done yet. He's only on 46 workers. I guess main base mining out means he will have some drones to send over there. Again, good catch on the force fields, getting some of the Ravagers. Ravagers are very important, and I love that catch on the Roaches too. Again, the force field number is just ridiculous, and he's continuing to use so many of these. Another Corrosive Bowels, so, and again, it's Harstem that has to back away from this, but it feels like he has the numbers to keep pushing forwards. Another couple of Corrosive Bowels. The Immortal gets hit, the Sentry gets hit. Queen gets caught, the Ravager Roaches still going down. More Corrosive Bowels trying to find something in all of this. Harstem still pressing forwards, and I mean, that Immortal count has now grown to 7 in all of this. It feels like the Immortals have just never been touched, by the way, by any of these units. 25 kills on one, 22 on another, 14, 10, 6, 3, and 22 on the final one. These Immortals have been insanely effective in this army, and Harstem now, he's kind of got Harstem now kind of has SortOf in his grasp. I mean, he just moves left, he moves right, he picks up a unit here, a unit there, and Harstem takes it 2-1. Qualifies for WCS Challenger.